Okay, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely massive, a true AI paradigm shift. Specifically, we're looking at a huge migration from Claude over to OpenAI. Now, you already know this, but whichever AI ecosystem you lock into right now, that's going to be deeply woven into how you work for years to come. The stakes are incredibly high here. It's all about laying the right foundation for the long haul. So today, we're going to break down exactly what happens when a major established operation decides to jump ship.
250. We need to pause on that number for a second. We are not talking about a solo freelancer deciding to try out a new app for the weekend. No, we are analyzing the migration of an entire 250-person company entirely off their primary operating system. Think about that. That's 250 people whose daily workflows, projects, and communications were totally intertwined with one AI platform and then abruptly moved to another. The sheer scale of a transition like this is just staggering, and honestly, it's what makes this analysis so incredibly valuable for the rest of us.
Just look at this quote. I don't move a 250-person company onto a different AI ecosystem for fun. I mean, that perfectly captures the gravity of the whole situation, right? This transition was definitely not some casual weekend experiment. It was born out of absolute operational necessity. When a company of this size is humming along, you just don't break the machine unless the underlying math and the stability of that machine simply stop making sense.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the expensive AI mistake, look at why Claude broke down, explore the OpenAI Control Center, touch on the super app concept, dive into the power of automations, and finally, give our final verdict.
All right, part one, the expensive AI mistake. Let's look at the actual cost of choosing the wrong ecosystem. Moving into part two, why Claude broke down. Basically, the breaking point for their operations. So the AI you choose today is actively learning your team, your style, your workflows, right? Which means picking the wrong one becomes a very, very painful and expensive future mistake. For a 250-person company who basically acted as a canary in the coal mine here, that operational pain surfaced incredibly fast. Just look at Claude's 90-day status page during the period we're analyzing. Notice all those red lines? Those indicate partial outages, and the orange lines represent ongoing, persistent issues. And the major root cause they kept hitting? Out of compute errors. Literally just out of juice. Imagine trying to run a fast-paced business, and every single time you open your primary tool, you're hit with another bug, an outage, or a massive delay. This constant reality of red and orange status bars literally forced this company's hand. They just couldn't afford the continuous workflow disruptions anymore.
But it wasn't even just the outages. Take a look at the stark contrast in token burn rates here. On one side, we have Claude Code, where a $200 plan was literally being entirely exhausted in just 4 or 5 days because of severe rate limits. On the flip side, the company switched to Codex, which is an integrated coding environment powered by OpenAI. With Codex, credits lasted an entire month for the exact same heavy engineering workload. That's a game changer. So beyond the sheer frustration of downtime, the fragmented structure over in Claude was just burning through cash. By switching ecosystems, they saved the engineering team tens of thousands of rupees every single week.
Which brings us to part three, the OpenAI Control Center. We're talking about the evolution from a simple chatbot to a full-blown operating system. This right here marks a massive shift in how we actually use these tools. We're no longer talking about ChatGPT as just a simple text box where you type in questions. Inside this control center, you've got native app integrations. For example, you can hook Canva directly in and generate a 5-page slide deck natively, literally without ever leaving the chat. It's wild. You also have deep research, which lets you point the AI to specific websites to pull structured reports with exact, reliable source citations. Plus, you've got projects for long-term dedicated workspaces, custom GPTs, and agents acting as specialized workers for specific tasks, and incredibly deep personalization, right down to customizing the tone of voice, like the breeze setting. It's the whole shebang. A completely unified workspace. And take a look at this specific fact-check showdown from the source material. This is fascinating. Both platforms were given a viral story to verify. Claude's response called the claim unverified, listed some red flags, but provided absolutely zero links to follow up on. Codex, however, verified the claim and actually provided the exact original Twitter link to the source. This isn't just a minor feature, it's a fundamental difference in how they process information. It really proved that OpenAI was vastly superior at finding the truth using live web verification. And if you're putting your name on a company output, that is absolutely crucial. Okay, part 4, enter the super app. This is all about consolidating AI into one single platform. Look, people don't want 5 different AI apps for 5 different tasks. It's exhausting. They want one place where everything connects seamlessly. And that brings us to this really interesting buzzword you've probably heard, vibe coding. Basically, vibe coding is the process of using AI to consistently and reliably build full-stack products. We're talking both front-end and back-end code. Now, while other platforms might be fine for spinning up some basic browser websites, the company found that Codex was vastly superior for building actual, robust desktop applications, internal tools, and software right on local machines, without having to manually write the code. It acts as the ultimate super app, merging image generation, file analysis, and deep coding into one consolidated interface. Next up, part 5, the power of automations. This is how you free humans from repetitive operational tasks. So the crucial point here is how easily you can reclaim lost hours from those mind-numbing repetitive tasks that just eat away at the workday. Check out these exact steps for automating a daily team stand-up. Step 1, you set a prompt schedule for daily at 11:05 a.m. Step 2, you tell the AI to tag the specific YT team check-in channel in Slack. Step 3, it automatically asks the team for status updates, which, by the way, saves everyone from having to sit through yet another unnecessary meeting. And step 4, you approve the connection once and save the action into memory to run continuously in the background, forever. You never have to manually execute that task again. Now imagine stacking 50 or 100 of these automations across a company. The AI just seamlessly replaces all those mundane management updates. It's brilliant. Finally, part 6, the final verdict. Let's talk about the migration, the nuance, and the 7-day challenge. Now you might be wondering, okay, the capabilities and cost savings are great, but isn't switching platforms a total nightmare? There is always friction when changing tools, usually because we're terrified of losing all our history. But the source reveals this incredibly straightforward 2-minute memory import process. You literally just ask Claude to export all its context, projects, and preferences about you. You copy that generated block of text, paste it into a new ChatGPT session, and command ChatGPT to save the text as your memory. Just like that, months of baked-in context are transferred in minutes. You don't lose your digital identity or start from zero. However, to remain strictly impartial here, we absolutely must look at where Claude still outright wins, and it's significant. Claude boasts a massive 1 million token context window. Codex, right now, is limited to a 50,000 token context window. That is a huge difference. If you are actively analyzing massive codebases or incredibly lengthy, dense documents, Claude remains way ahead of the pack. Furthermore, Claude's Cowork UI is exceptionally friendly, clean, and highly accessible for non-technical users. It's super important to recognize that both ecosystems have very distinct, powerful strengths depending entirely on your specific operational needs. But when it comes to speed, stability, automations, and having a unified ecosystem that rarely goes down, the source material points heavily toward OpenAI for this 250-person team right now. So I want to leave you with a final provocative thought based on everything we've just unpacked today. Are you ready to take the 7-day challenge? Seriously, try using OpenAI as your main tool for just 1 week. Build one thing. Automate just one repetitive task. See firsthand how it changes your workflow. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep experimenting, keep pushing the boundaries, and I will see you next time.